Hi everyone, Jared here. Time for the market video update. I hope everyone had a great weekend and got some good rest and you're ready to get back into the market. We had a good session this morning. One of our orders is actually filled and running. We're going to see how that one goes. Talked about a couple of changes. I'll have more information coming out about that in the coming emails and we'll be discussing it more in the session. So try to join in the sessions as much as possible to get kind of the scoop and the update of some of the changes we're making. Quick look at the markets today. We had a pretty down Dow. The Dow was down about 100 points at the peak, at least at the lowest point I saw it. And as you can see, it's making a pretty good comeback. We've got about a half hour left. Looks like it may end up zero or even slightly in the positive. We see the markets jumping a little bit the last few minutes before the close, so that's kind of in the works. Gold is starting to flounder. We're going to look at that chart in just a moment. And oil is just kind of staying here. I just have a hunch, unfortunately, and this does kind of have to go with a little bit of the seasonal move of oil, but I think oil is seeing its lowest numbers right now, and I think it's going to start to break through some of these highs into the $100, $110 marks sooner than later. Just a hunch, just a gut feeling. Keep an eye on it. As far as news coming up today and the rest of this week, coming into Tuesday, tomorrow, we have the GDP for Canada, and we have consumer confidence for the U.S. Tomorrow morning, and then we have the manufacturing PMI. We've got a pretty interesting week coming up ahead of us. Some pretty decent news, a little bit of New Zealand news later on today in about an hour or so, but then tomorrow we've got some big things. Wednesday we've got ADP, we've got ISM, retail sales, and all kinds of trade balance and so on, all kinds of things coming out of Australia, UK, US. Thursday's a pretty heavy day, and then Friday we get hit with non-farm, we get hit with Canadian job reports, lots and lots of news there. Quick little look at the dollar index. The dollar index double topped very nicely on this 82 level, and so far has been coming off pretty strong. We're left wondering if this is going to be a long-term run down or if this is still in retracement mode, and it's starting to look like it could be really coming off of that level. We're going to talk about that in just a moment. Looking at some of our pairs here, we see that first of all, as you guys saw, and I talked about this over and over and over and over again and posted the video about 5 or 6 times about looking for sell entries off of this 38% fib level, this 132.45.50 area. Came just a couple of pips shy of actually touching it, but on a longer term run we're not going to split pips there. So it came within about 5 pips of actually hitting the level, but overall made it very nicely up to our area and then dropped about 150 pips. So a very, very nice move off of that. Very, very perfectly run, nice little push up into that 38. It looks like though that the euro dollar may really be turning and looking for a little bit of a longer term run up. Not surprised at all to see this reaction off the 38, but I think it might be kind of recharging its batteries just a little bit and looking for a run into that 134, 13500 area. And I think we just might see some of that happening. So here's a couple of things that I'm going to be looking for on the shorter term. There's going to be some trickiness as we get down to 130.50, but I think this is a good buy area on the euro dollar around the 130.50. With probably a stop somewhere just below. We've got a pretty strong support right there, and a stop just below some of this range here. Probably about the 130 mark to give it, a full 50 pips, and hope to keep it above that 130. I think it could test and push that 130. So I'm thinking that we could get an entry somewhere in this euro dollar between 130.30 and 130.50, and I'd really like to see stops just a hair below that 130 mark, because I wouldn't be surprised to see the market kind of dip down and test that area before continuing back up. So looking right around that 130.30, 130.50 area. I will advise on this as we go a little bit more. I'm not putting anything on this one yet, and I'm just kind of waiting, but I'm really eyeballing this area to buy the euro right around this 130.50, right around this 1 hour gap, to take it back up into the highs of the fib level, which is going to give us close to a 200 pip run, and I think we might just be able to get that. So I'm going to be keeping an eye out on that, watching for that, waiting for that, looking for some of that movement. But for the moment, it needs to either make another run up and possibly double top and give us a little short-term reversal opportunity, or we need to get a dip down of about 75 pips or so to get an opportunity to buy this pair. So that's kind of what I'm going to be looking for and watching for at the moment, and I'll have more information coming out on that one as well. pound dollar is really kind of starting to channel. You can see that it's kind of in this 80 pip channel and it's just bumping around here. The pound dollar made a very nice attempt all the way. It's run up very nicely here and just came shy of our 57.70, 80 area. Came shy enough of that one that would have been a little bit of a tough entry because it came short by about 30 or 40 pips. I think that the pound dollar is also going to at least test this high over the next several hours to 1 to 2 days. So I'm definitely looking for the pound dollar to reach that 157.70. And at this point, I may not try to short at that area. I think we're going to try to trade up to it and then look for some possible further breakout and some continuation through. And at this point, I'm looking right around the 156.25 area. I think 156.25 is going to be a nice little run down. It is about 65 pips below where the market currently is, but right around this gap and this area right here, I think is going to be a good area to buy the pound dollar with stops below 156.00. If it does break below 156.00, it could be headed into further reversal, but I think that 156.25 should give us a nice entry and a nice area to start taking this pair back up into that high of that 157.75, which would give us a little over 100 pips of 150 pips or so of run and upside movement. So we're going to keep our eye on that, but we definitely could still see some reversals off these levels. I just may not take it immediately. I think we've got a good chance to trade up to it, and that will probably be the exit point, and then we'll see how the market behaves up here, and we may try to get a quick little short-term sell entry in there. But we'll talk about that on our live sessions, and then we'll see if that ends up happening before the daily video is posted tomorrow, so keep an eye on that. Euro yen did exactly very well also. It ran nicely down and came up just below this 38% fib level. We were looking for about 102.50-ish, and it came up to about 102.25, so just a little bit shy of that 30% fib, and this one's down 200 plus pips as well, about 225, 230 pips. The euro yen is looking much heavier than some of these other pairs. It's come down to that daily and 4-hour gap right there. And it's broken very solidly through that 1-hour gap. So I think the euro yen might be looking for a little bit of further downside. I think those yen pairs are going to start taking back some of that ground that they lost. And so I think I'm going to wait on this one a little bit just to see if we can get through this daily and this 4-hour gap right here. And if we can, then we could start to see some longer term runs back into these lows here, which would give us another 100 pips or so to go, and so on. But at this point, it looks like it might be a decent area to buy on the dip, but the whole yen setup right now is a little bit tricky in that we need to wait and see further development on those yen pairs, and that's going to count on the pound yen as well, which has done the same thing. It's come off of our highs very nicely. These are marked from days and days ago on the daily videos, so this just touched that high right there, that 12200, and this one's down 230, 40 pips right around there as well. So definitely a very nice little run there, and we may start to see some attempts back down at this low and through this low. So I'm looking for yen pairs to possibly continue down a bit more. Our Aussie dollar, we're in the Aussie dollar on a suggestion from this morning's trade setup. The Aussie dollar just came shy of reaching and even breaking these highs here. I think that's still a very real possibility and a very real target that the market could be running towards. We're looking for some sell opportunities. We're looking for this Aussie dollar to kind of make its way lower and probably test this 104, 30, 40 area. I think we've got a pretty good chance at least at the 10500 mark. So we're looking to just get it back down into these lows and then slightly through those lows down into some of this congestion and consolidation that you can see right here. So looking to kind of sell off of this little bounce here and take the pair down into some of this more serious support. Down at that level, down at the 104 25 area right around there, we're going to be looking to buy the Aussie dollar. So we're looking for this thing to give us some more retracement down into this 104, 30, 40, 50 area, and then we're going to be looking to buy it up from there. But we're not too worried about that one at this point because we're looking to currently run this pair a bit lower and get some more downside out of it before we turn and take it higher. So we're going to be watching for that. So at the moment, looking for dips on euro dollar, pound dollar to buy. We're looking for a dip on the Aussie dollar so that we can continue our sell opportunity, and then we'll be looking to buy much lower than where it currently is, about 150 pips lower or so. And then we're still just kind of in holding pattern on the euro yen and the pound yen. And just a quick look at the pound, or excuse me, at gold. Gold has come just shy of our 1750 level. We're still looking at that one, and I think that's still in play. And I think gold's got a good chance of reaching it. I would be a little surprised to see much of a break. It could push just a bit higher, but I don't know if I'm looking for us to get a big break here. And once it reaches that level, if it gets back down below this, we may look for some medium-term sell opportunities. If it pushes just above 1750 and then back below, and I think that's going to give us a nice run there and be able to continue taking this pair down. So we've got some nice long-term setups. Remember, looking to buy on the dip on euro dollar, buy on the dip on pound dollar, waiting on yen pairs, selling on this little rally on the Aussie dollar, and then looking to buy on the dip much further down, just above 10400, and we'll look to take it back up from there. And then same thing with gold. We're looking to possibly trade gold higher into 1750 and then see if we can get a break and trade it back down. But we'll kind of wait on gold. So we've got some nice setups, some good things going on. We'll see you in the chat and try to join us, and I'll update more on the information and the changes that we're making in the group. So far, so good. See you guys in the chat. Best of luck.